Hi folks, how are you? I feel like it's been forever since we've done one of these. I know one of the weeks it was like Thanksgiving, and then I think I just used like a YouTube video for another one because I thought it was pretty cool and I just wanted to kind of recycle it. Hi. So today we are talking all about how to optimize sleep, okay? So I think I've covered like the recovery hierarchy on another mini training and how to like promote recovery in the best way. And I talk about that hierarchy and how sleep is the foundation. It's the base. So, and it's the most important thing. So if we're not getting good sleep, all of that other stuff just doesn't work as optimally as it could. So sleep is so important for good health, longevity, aesthetic goals, performance goals, you name it. So it's, although regardless of what sleep you've ever gotten, and it might feel normal to you, it still might not mean it's the best yet to come. So the focus today is to talk about some foundational behaviors and habits that can help you promote really, really good sleep. So when I think about helping people with sleep, I think of it as having like multiple layers. And first, again, we need to establish a really good base with habits and routine first. And then we check all our boxes there. Those look good, or we're still struggling. Then we level up and take the next step with aids to be able to help. So that's really important because I think people can get easily distracted or think there's a quick fix with like a supplement or something like that to do the trick. And it's like, oh gosh, why even worry about a supplement if you don't even have a consistent bedtime, right? So those are the things we're going to talk about today, things to do consistently or try to really embed every day to help you achieve this. So first things first is establishing that sleep schedule. I found most people have the best results with both getting to sleep and staying asleep by establishing the same bedtime and wake time every day. Now, for those that maybe have to get up early for work Monday through Friday and then allow themselves to sleep in on the weekend, again, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm definitely guilty of that maybe one day of the week, but I think it's important to, thanks for the like, Ben. I think it's important to have that same time, and I would almost challenge you to even consider your schedule the same throughout the weekend, because you actually might feel better by doing that, which might feel weird to start, but it's definitely worth a try. And I know some people don't have that luxury of being able to do that. Maybe they're a shift worker or their schedule's like frequently rotating in a way. So that's something to keep in mind, like to have that sleep schedule. But then if you're someone who that can't work for their lifestyle, it's like that lifestyle may be a non-negotiable. Like if that's what, puts food on your table and keeps the roof over your head, let's keep that in place. And then maybe we can kind of practice things like implementing a nap somewhere, right? And like you can probably have your own thoughts regarding naps and it doesn't really matter, but I think that it is really important if you're someone who's not getting optimal sleep or enough sleep to implement those every once in a while where that's appropriate for you. So what is the right amount of hours per sleep or the recommended? I would say for a Gen Pop person, it's 7 hours a night. So this means someone who pays attention to their health. They go to the gym maybe 2 to 3 times a week. They like hit their step goal. They're staying active and working on their health, but they're not like athlete level performer in that way, if that makes sense. And then if you're someone with performance goals or real, more specific aesthetic goals, not just like, oh, I want to lose weight to be healthy, but I have a show coming up or I'm in a sport with a weight class that I have to meet, sleep should look more like 8+ hours, which there's some people in this group who probably get maybe 6 or under and are like, how the heck in the world is 8 even achievable? But the people that require that probably are dedicating more time to something specific that they can and will alter their obligations around to make that happen. So everyone is different and we have to meet each other where we are, right? Okay, so number one is establishing that bedtime and wake time schedule. Now, it doesn't have to be on the dot every single day, but if you can keep it within like a 45, 30-minute range, I think you're really gonna feel a big difference throughout the week. And then the next, these are really just basic things to start, folks, okay? So let me know if I lose you. But the second is to avoid caffeine from like 6 to 8 hours before bed. So I know there's some people that say they can have a cup of coffee and pass right out. There's no problem. Just the research shows it's important to try to not consume any of that before bed, because even though your mind might be tired, maybe it's keeping your body up or vice versa. So that's just something to consider. And that's, I like focusing on that one because it's something controllable, right? So you can easily, make sure you have a cutoff time for you sometime in the day. A lot of people, it's like by noon or 1 or 2 at the latest. So that's good. And then the next thing is really helpful too is cutting out blue light exposure 1 to 3 hours before bed. So blue light exposure comes from electronics. So your TV screens, your laptops, your Kindles, your phone. Now there's multiple different ways you can navigate that, whether it's like I know a lot of screens now offer a red screen option, which is really, really cool. So that takes all the blue out. And for those of you that don't know, the blue is the one that even though you're like usually chilling out when you're watching it, it can be very stimulating to your brain. So then when you turn it off, your brain is still working and it can make it difficult for you to either get to bed or stay asleep. So we definitely want to switch to like a red light mode if your like electronics have that option. Or honestly, my best approach, at least that sticks for me, is getting a set of blue light blockers. You can get them as cheap now as like $7.99 on Amazon, I think. And it's like, no one else is really going to see it besides anyone else who lives in your house. So regardless of how silly you think you look or whatnot, I think even just getting into the routine of popping those on, 2 to 3 hours before bed, because I know it's definitely a habit for me to like pick up my phone, check it out, definitely do some scrolling before bed. And I like that, like not having to think and just mindless stuff sometimes to turn my brain off, but we aren't if we're getting that blue light. So that's definitely something to think about. I covered naps. I want to make sure I mentioned too, naps are like a little finicky, but I don't have too many rules about them besides keep them short and sweet, like 30 minutes or under. Once you start going over that, I tend to find it makes people feel a little bit more dry, like groggier before they took the nap. And then also not making sure it's kind of far away from your planned bedtime. So if you go to bed at 9 and you want to take a nap for the day, you don't really want to take a nap after like 3 p.m. because now you could impact the amount of sleep you get later. So side note on that, but I didn't want to forget. So the big things with sleep so far, we said establish a sleep routine, avoid caffeine 6 to 8 hours before bed, avoid blue light exposure 1 to 3 hours before bed. And then when it comes to your bedroom, simply keep it dark and cool. So I like to joke, but like keeping your room like the bat cave is the way to go. So whether that's like blackout curtains for you, you just want to get it as dark as possible when you sleep. I know a lot of people like could fall asleep with the TV on, or we also have like a really cool fireplace in our room, which is awesome, but like it exudes a ton of light. So you got to make sure you turn those things off when you're sleeping. It'll help you achieve like deeper sleep, which is really nice. And then keeping it a hair cooler too. So you can kind of play around with that. I think like 68 or anywhere around there would probably be sufficient, depending on like where you live, of course. And also a really good trick is experiencing a temperature change can help you fall asleep. So for example, if you take like a nice warm shower before bed and then you get into your cooler bedroom, that drastic change in temperature can kind of also help calm you down and get into sleep. So I like that one personally a ton. And then the last thing I'll mention is regarding like your sleep hygiene and your bed itself is to try to not do anything else in bed besides sleep. So that sounds probably weird saying out loud, but like if you have a snack or two in bed, or you like to read in bed, or do work or answer emails or anything else, you're just you're not conditioning your brain as well as you could to help promote sleep. Meaning, if you like to read before bed, I love doing that. Go read in another room, get super tired, make sure you're all set, ready for bed. You've brushed your teeth, you've done all that stuff, so that when you get tired, all you have to do is close your book and get into bed. And as soon as your head hits the pillow, hopefully you fall asleep. It's when we start reading in bed and then we get stimulated by the book, or it's a great book and you don't want to put it down, now you're reading and not going to sleep. If you eat in bed, now your brain knows, okay, it recognizes bed, and we're going to eat now instead of fall asleep. Whereas if you kind of set yourself up with this like wind down routine of, making the environment set up for success for you, for good sleep, with the darker setting, the cooler setting, getting into bed around the same time, maybe taking that shower right before you get in, whatever that looks like for you, keeping it as consistent as possible Monday through Sunday will really set you up and get your body acclimated to that. And for those of you that you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, that you can get very consistent in your body. You can train your body to like recognize that, because there'll be times now when if I get to go to an event or a social gathering and it starts to get like 10, 11 o'clock and I start yawning really, really bad because I'm already in bed at that time. So it's just something so different. But I think that that's a really cool thing you can experience too, that when you're so consistent and you have one time where you're not, you see how consistent your body is actually used to that. So I definitely challenge you guys to give one or two of these things a try for the next couple weeks. I will say it's not always an immediate instant gratification. So definitely give these things time. I would not recommend trying all of them at once, especially I tend to find when people start wanting to prioritize sleep, they end up trying almost a little too hard, and then they're so hyper fixated on it, they're not getting to bed anyways. So don't put any pressure on yourself whatsoever. Easier said than done, of course. But like I said, maybe just start even with one thing and give that like 2 weeks of consistency. See how it goes. See what you like, what you don't. Like maybe there's something I said that just won't work for your situation, and that's totally okay. But give the others a shot, and hopefully some of them stick. So keep me posted. I'll upload this on the Facebook group and the YouTube page right now, and then share it to our Instagram later. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Definitely go get some sleep. Enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you next week.